Could Max Verstappen leave Formula One by the end of the 2026 season? I think it is very likely that he at least leaves Red Bull. He could leave Formula One. Plenty of people have left Formula One before and came back. Fernando Alonso, Kimi Raikkonen, Niki Lauda did it too like a long time ago. Left Formula One and came back at some point. And then, with what Max is doing in endurance racing, with what he tried to do, sadly he was disqualified. I think it's very likely. Exit clause, right? Red Bull has a contract with Max Verstappen that goes until 2028, but there are exit clauses every year. George Russell's contract was on hold in the 2025 season because Mercedes was talking to Max Verstappen. And if you're not aware, the clause in the 2025 season for Max leaving Red Bull before 2028 was that if he was not fourth or higher by the summer break, he could leave. Now, obviously that didn't happen, and that's when Mercedes stopped talking to Max Verstappen. For the 2026 season, though, it's very different. Simon Lazenby, I don't know if I'm saying that right, in the F1 podcast show said that Max will be able to leave if he is second or worse. Now, I don't know if that's by the summer break, similar to last year, or if it's by the end of the season. So if by the end of this season, Max isn't first, he's able to leave Red Bull. So that's 100% could happen without anything else coming into play. Could he go to Mercedes? And I think this is a lot of people will say that Toto will happily take Max and he'll kick George down the side as he's been trying to do for like the last 2 years, I think now. And then Kimi will be like the prospect that they keep, but I don't know if this is true. There's George himself, according to ESPN, and this was an article from 2025, so I'm not entirely sure, but if George Russell meets certain circumstances, he would be extended until 2027. Now for the 2026 season, we don't know what the circumstances are. It could be that he has to win the drivers championship and that Mercedes has to win the constructors championship. And I'm just setting the bar extremely high because we're kind of forced to speculate. No one actually knows except for the people who have signed these contracts, and they don't really give this information out. It sounds to me like for George to not be in a Mercedes seat in 2027, he has to absolutely just drop the ball completely in a year that honestly looks like it's his year. It looks like it's Mercedes' year as well. Now Kimi, on the other hand, when GP Blog, I don't know the credibility of GP Blog, I don't know them personally, but in an interview when they asked Kimi if his contract extension went past 2026, he said, "To be honest, I don't know. I race year by year and the goal is to always deliver the best result possible. The team obviously wants to work with me also in the future, not only next year, but I need to perform as well." GP Blog used this as confirmation to say that he is on a year-to-year basis. And according to this random Mercedes Hub account on X, it said that his contract extension depends on one key condition. By the 12th race, British GP Mercedes must be fourth in the Constructors Championship. That did happen, and they said that his deal automatically extended to 2028. Again, I don't know how true that is. I'm not really aware. So I think if any of the Mercedes seats are in jeopardy, it is Kimi's, and I think most people would think that it's the other way around because of the way that George Russell has been treated. Is there something in Mercedes, in their side of the court that allows them to just kick George out of the way and put Max in? Maybe, but with the information that I have very poorly researched, I think that Kimi is the one who could be in jeopardy here. And as far as Max going to other teams, we know that Alonso's having an awful time in the Aston Martin. That car is literally giving him cancer as he's driving around the track and exploding on him. So I think he's kind of set to leave. There's reports that he's very mad with the team. So I think we could see Alonso just leaving Formula One altogether. that could open up a seat for Max or anyone else. But would Max go to Aston Martin? I don't think so. What about the Ferrari seat? Max is a great driver, you know, capable to do what Hamilton and Charles are doing, arguably better than both of those drivers. Martin Brundle has said he believes that Lewis Hamilton has a contract that goes to 2027 with an extension into 2028. Again, I don't know if that's true. I think that's Martin Brundle speculating that Lewis Hamilton is a very expensive driver to have. He also knows that he's a very expensive driver and would try to extend himself as much as possible to be in that Ferrari seat. As far as what's confirmed, I think he's confirmed until 2027. I don't actually know. Unless Ferrari are a championship worthy team, which they kind of look like they could be, you know, maybe not this year. It's still really early. At the time of this recording, it's March 23rd, so it's like we're only about to get to the third race. A lot can happen. Who knows? I think for those reasons, Max is probably gonna bail. He essentially guarantees that if he wants to, he could just leave at the end of this year. That's the only certain. Everything else is kind of on the table. I think Mercedes less likely, Ferrari kind of unlikely. So I think most likely Max will leave Formula One to pursue endurance racing, Indy, you know, NASCAR, WRC, whatever he wants to do, because he's Max Verstappen. And then because he is Max, just like Kimi Raikkonen, just like Alonso, come back and just, you know, finish out his driving career in Formula One. So yeah, I see him leaving, but I don't know. This is all kind of speculation. It's kind of all that the fans can do for the most part without just being there asking the drivers questions and then them just giving you media answers. So yeah.